Welcome back to Mind Prosperity. Today we are speaking about my book that I wrote called Living in a Spotlight, and today I'm going to speak a little bit about one of the chapters of the book called Quit Desiring Roller Coaster Relationships. What is a roller coaster relationship and why do people desire it so much? A lot of people who have this desire for the spotlight also have a desire for these roller coaster relationships. So we're going to look at that a bit, and we're going to look a bit at what that is all about. Now, I just want to thank everybody who watched our previous video on living in a spotlight. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, please go follow the link in the description or the link in the video that will take you to the video on living in a spotlight, speaking a little bit about the book. But the idea of the book is people pleasing, and it's this whole idea that a lot of people has this desire for the spotlight. Maybe not the literal spotlight on a literal stage, but it's as if so many people are living in this metaphorical spotlight of who people and who society wants them or desires them to be. And as they live in the spotlight, they become immersed in this idea of people have to accept me, people have to love me. All of the research shows us that it doesn't make a person happy, and still people are striving for it. And one of the things is a roller coaster relationship. Now, when we were younger, there was a place in, I think it's Cape Town, called Ratanga Junction, and they had this one roller coaster called the Cobra. You go up and up and up and up and up and up, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like throws you down at 80 kilometers. That's 50 miles per hour. And it feels like that in some of these relationships, right? It feels like, you go up and up and up and up, and this thing just throws you down. And the idea of quit desiring roller coaster relationships came from this video I once watched by somebody who's quite famous in the podcast or YouTube industry. So I'm not going to say his name, but he once did this video where he said, if you want a girl to fall in love with you, you have to treat her extremely well. They call that love bombing. And then the next day you have to treat her like extremely bad, and then the next day you have to ignore her, and then the next day you have to treat her very well again. And he was speaking about this tactic to get a girl to fall in love with you. And I was thinking about this actually can be true. This actually can be true, that many people will actually fall for you or fall for that when you treat a person that way. As I was looking at this, I actually asked 3 of my female friends who are married. I asked them, what do you think about this? All 3 of them said, it wouldn't work for me because I'm a secure person and I want stability. And that caused me to realize that roller coaster relationships will work with many people, but it will work with insecure people. And here's the thing, people who desire the spotlight, people who desire the attention the whole time. And I'm not saying the spotlight is bad. I'm not saying the attention is bad. I'm saying that intense desire for that spotlight, that intense desire for the attention, that intense people pleasing, that intense desire for roller coaster relationships. Now, a lot of people might say, no, but I don't want a roller coaster relationship. What are you talking about? But the reality is many people, although they say they don't want it, when they get into something stable, they will be like, this feels boring. I don't feel any excitement here. And then, they connect that whole roller coaster relationship kind of like to this thing of like excitement. And this is why people desire it. And this is why insecure people a lot of times desire it, because insecurity is something that has been built a lot of times in childhood. You are treated well and then you are treated badly, and you're always like uncertain about the environment, and that uncertainty starts to feel familiar. And remember, later when you go into a relationship, you get attracted to what feels familiar. If instability or unstableness felt familiar as a younger person, then as you get older, as you get to this place where you have to go into a relationship, you feel kind of like this roller coaster relationship starts to feel familiar. And that means there's healing that needs to take place, because a lot of times people, they look at movie stars, they look at famous people, they look at rich people, they look at beautiful people, they look at all of these people that the world finds so glamorous, and they're like, I want a wife like that, I want a husband like that, I want this glamour, and they marry people for looks and for money. I'm not saying a person shouldn't be attractive. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wealth. Those are both good qualities. But my question has always been, why are so many people in the spotlight not happy in their relationships? And then the main question is, if they're not happy in their relationships, why are we still desiring it? Why do we still desire the person who treats us well and treats us bad, and then they text us and then they don't, and then they ghost you and then they love bomb you, and it stirs this excitement, and you kind of like, that's what I want. That's not healthy. And it's something that needs to be healed. As soon as you get healed, and this is why a lot of younger people make decisions based on this. And then when they get older, they're like, this roller coaster relationship is actually not that nice. Ernest Hemingway said, the most painful thing is losing yourself in the process of loving someone too much and forgetting that you are special too. If you desire these roller coaster relationships, that means you actually desire toxic relationships. And if you desire a toxic relationship, that means there's kind of this codependency within you. Even if you are listening and you are the toxic person and you're like, yeah, I'm the person that kind of like love bombs and then I ignore and then I treat badly, because I've seen that's the only thing that works. Now, when I spoke to these 3 female friends of mine and they said it's kind of like stems from insecurity, yeah, maybe it will work with 90% of the people out there, but this is not something I want. I've realized when I was doing research for this chapter, I realized like that's not the person that I want to be. That's not the way I want to get a wife of my life, by being this roller coaster person, because by being this roller coaster person, you're stirring somebody's emotions. Now, roller coaster relationships, as I said, for some it might feel familiar because it might come from early experiences. It might feel extremely passionate. It might feel extremely attractive at first. But eventually, it's going to destroy you. We have to get to a place where we have this desire to build something stable. Before I go on, I want to ask you to like and to subscribe to this video. We're going to do a few sessions on the book, so I want you guys to stay tuned. Also, if you want to pre-order the book, please follow the link in the description. So here's the question. When you look at your relationships and when you look at your life, I'm not just speaking about romantic relationships. I do think the focus is a lot on romantic relationships here as well, but relationships in general. Do you get bored with people who are actually stable and who are actually healthy? And do you still have this desire to be around toxic, unhealthy people because you have this desire and need for acceptance, because your body is so used to fighting for acceptance that just comes naturally is actually boring or feels unfamiliar? We have to go get in and we have to tap in and say, listen, healing needs to happen within me. I need to heal this insecurity, because the only thing that's going to be healthy in my life is stability, not a roller coaster relationship. And in the book and in the material, I show you how to get this healing and how to get this stability. Well, thank you so much for watching. We are very excited about the book. We hope and believe that you are as well. We're looking forward to see you in the rest of the series from Mind Prosperity. We love you and we see you soon again. Goodbye.